Good morning, brothers. Today I'm going to call some of you out on not valuing quitting porn, quitting your compulsive behaviors, your addictions. I hear it all the time. Men sending emails, men getting on calls with my team, men getting on calls with me, telling me how much this is destroying their lives, how long they've waited, how we are the first person, 99% of the time, literally, almost 100% of the time, we are the first person that a man reaches out to when it comes to ending their behavior with pornography. They're just like, man, I heard your podcast, I listened to your videos, and you're the guy I want to work with. I've waited decades and I've destroyed my life. I'm on my second marriage. I'm going through a separation. I'm about to fuck up my sales career. I'm not closing anymore. Like, I lost my way. I lost my ambition. I lost my spirituality. I'm a liar. I'm not the leader that people think I am. I hear it all. And then, when it comes time to take action, I see these very same men take certain actions that are just not in alignment with what they say. And they don't even realize how much pornography has warped their sense of values. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm J.K. Mazy. This is Porn Reboot Coach in the Porsche. I'm the founder of Elevated Recovery and the head coach at the Porn Reboot Coaching Systems. We help ambitious professionals, executives, business owners, and their compulsive sexual behavior with pornography and masturbation in particular discreetly. So, values. When asked about them, many men will spout some things which are mostly untrue. They feel true, but they really aren't. I value my family comes first. Family comes first, right? I value my kids. I value my independence, my freedom, my health. I'm not interested in any of that shit when I talk to a guy. All I want to know is what he spends his time on. A brother comes into our group, I will quickly find out within the first 30 days where they're spending their time. They say all sorts of stuff, but they're not going to the gym. They are not putting time into self-care. They don't even have enough time to sit down, if they're Christian, and read the Bible and say a prayer. They don't even have to put the time aside to meditate. They don't put aside the time to do the basic self-care things in their life, or even spend the time with their family, or even work on building intimacy with their partner. Yet they say they value it. But the years have been passing by, and they just haven't been putting in the action. Now, when you come to Reboot, you have a few more things to do. You have to go deeper into those things. You have to set aside time to be accountable, to build relationships with accountability partners. You have to set aside time to read, to understand your addictive behavior. You have to set aside time to build mindfulness, to become more aware, to cultivate certain practices within yourself so that you can catch yourself before you are triggered, when you are triggered, so you can learn how to manage your urges. Some men make a show of this because they've invested money. Usually 60 days is the magic number for the most resilient of these men who have misaligned values. Don't get me wrong, when it comes to your career or whatever it is you truly value, you don't have a problem. You're very resilient. And you can fake it in a program like ours, or you can fake it when you're talking to the world, but only for so long. And what I see is about 60 days. And then that brother goes back to what he really values. What he really values. That drink in the night. Or those 2-3 drinks that leads to a slip. Right? Watching YouTube. Entertaining himself when he's stressed out. He was supposed to make 15 grand in commissions this month. But he's overwhelmed by that. So instead of actually doing it, he just lives in the future, freaking out about how he's not going to be able to do it, And then he keeps watching. He's like, all right, I'm going to go listen to a motivational podcast, right, about this person who's in a similar career as myself. Goes from that to listening to some bullshit to, oh, I'm going to watch that person on YouTube. Then he ends up watching trash on YouTube, distracting himself in the middle of the day instead of getting on the fucking calls and making the money he needs to keep a roof over his head with his family. Then he goes back home to his wife stressed out. Stressed out. When you're stressed, guys, your dick's not gonna work. Oh, it's porn. No. It's you not doing the things you should be doing. It's you valuing the wrong things. Guys are actually more interested. They say they want to end their behavior. They say they want to overcome. You say that. I want to overcome my porn-induced erectile dysfunction. But why don't you spend time on your morning routine? Why don't you do your Kegels in the morning, right? Why don't you stay off pornography? Why don't you make an effort? Dude, it just happened, bro. It just happened. I just got carried away by work, man. I have this sense of urgency when I wake up in the morning. I gotta go, 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 go. That's what you actually value. You value closing the next deal. You value spending time with your buddies and drinking in the evenings. You value your golf game. There are guys who are like that. Right? That's what you actually value. You value watching that. Oh God, those ones are the worst. You value a show that you're watching on TV. You value chasing women for validation. I've had guys, all these things I'm mentioning, these are the things that I've seen men skip calls for. They've skipped calls, coaching calls for this shit. They've skipped calls with the accountability partners because they were sleeping in. You value sleep more than you do rebooting. I want you to ask yourself, I don't care whether you've been in our program or been in another program or whatever it is. Why is it that you haven't actually taken action to seriously engage in your reboots? Some of you guys value your wife's opinion over rebooting. We have had brothers who have showed up after years of following me on YouTube, and they're like, I am so glad I finally was able to make it through you guys' interview process. I'm so ready to work with JK, blah, de, blah, de, blah. You know what they say at the end? My wife, I know what my wife is going to say, you know? My wife is from this culture where, you know, like addiction is really not a thing. She's just going to say, get over it, Jim. Get over it. Why don't you just get over? So I know my wife is not going to do that. She's not going to let me do it. Then, Jim, why the fuck did you get on our call? Why the fuck are you wasting my team members' time if you knew that your wife wears the pants in your relationship? Gentlemen, if your wife wears the pants in your relationship, it is unlikely you will get into our program. If she's the decision maker, you better go find yourself some, I don't know, one of these coaches, these nice guy coaches, whose wife also, you know, whose wife also wears the pants. Go work with that person. You'll be a lot more comfortable, right? They will even bring their wife on the first call to talk to you and make your wife comfortable, so because you can't fucking make the decision on your own. You value her opinion over, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with valuing your partner's opinion. I value my partner's opinion. But you value your partner's opinion over something that you were dealing with, overcoming something you were dealing with before you even got married to her. Guys, take a good look in the mirror. What you spend your time on is what you actually value. Don't lie to yourself, right? If at this point in your life, you really don't value quitting porn, then you're actually wasting time and energy consuming all this material about it. You know, how would I put it? There was a time that I wanted to be a singer, right? I really wanted to be, like, I wanted to sing. There were different things I wanted to do. I wanted to be like a top tier martial artist. And I kind of practiced these things. I remember in Malaysia, I was training Muay Thai with this guy and Silat, and it's a Southeast Asian martial art. And I kept telling him, I was much younger then, that I'm very serious. Like, I want to get in the ring. I want to fight. I want to master this. And one day he just fucking told me, there's another kid there called Justin. Justin showed up every fucking evening. Every evening, right? The classes were, you could go to classes maybe 4 times a week. I was showing up for 2. I was showing up Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday. Like, I was super consistent with it. Justin kept getting better because Justin showed up all the time. He showed up 4, 5, 6 times a week. And I don't remember what it is I said to the crew, the teacher. But I remember him telling me, he's like, dude, you don't value this. That's why you're not getting any better. That's why you're getting gassed. When you joined at the same time as Justin, 2 months in, you're getting winded. You can't even carry yourself through the training session. And also in the evenings, what was I doing? I was going out to drink. Had no problem practicing Muay Thai than going out and partying. That was what I valued, right? So we do it in all areas of our lives. Some of you guys have for years been watching these videos. For years you've been doing this, saying, I value this, I value that. Do you actually value sex with your wife? Or are you at a point where you actually value sex with other women? Be honest. Be honest with yourself. What is it that you value, right? Or are you just saying that because everybody, do you value your marriage? Or are you spending half your time fantasizing about being with a younger woman or being with other women, right? Do you actually value your career or your job? Or are you spending, again, most of your time, are you spending it watching the lives of other successful people, hoping, wishing, and fantasizing that you can be some ultra successful avatar of somebody else? What is it that you actually value? Do you actually value going to the gym? Do you value having a certain body? Do you? That's the question I want you to ask yourself. But one thing I know for certain is that there are a lot of brothers out there who say they want to quit porn, who can watch all the videos and read all the books, but their actions do not align. Find out if you're one of those men.